Afternoon and welcome to the Thrive podcast powered by Arbeit Nexus. Arbeit Nexus is an AI-powered hiring marketplace built specifically for India's fast-evolving retail and hospitality sectors. We aim to bridge the gap between qualified job seekers and growth-focused employees through intelligent matchmaking, upskilling, and a transparent hiring experience. With features like AI-driven job recommendations, resume parsing, and behavioral assessments, our mission is to revolutionize hiring by making it faster, fairer, and more efficient for both candidates as well as companies. Today on this show, we have Darshan Reddy, the founder and CEO of Arbeit Nexus, and myself, VV Rajan, the CMO, and together we'll be moderating this session. Our guest for today is someone who's greatly accomplished in his career. Please welcome Mr. Siddharth Dangi. But before I hand over the podium to Siddharth as well as Darshan, I would like to have a quick introduction about our speaker today. Mr. Dangi is currently building Mentogram College, a fully accredited practitioner-led institution where degrees are taught by industry legends, veterans, and CXOs from Fortune 500 companies in partnership with top global universities and employers. He has a background in product management at digital hubs of MNCs like Yara, GlaxoSmithKline, and NTUC Income. At Yara, he scaled an agri-tech app from 0 to 500,000 users, marking the beginning of his entrepreneurial journey. He realized his passion lay in solving big problems so that he left behind a secure, high-paying job offer to work on Mentogram full-time. He's also a guest speaker at University of Cambridge, Singapore Management University, and a startup mentor at National University of Singapore. Outside of work, he loves adventure and exploring new faces. Siddharth strongly believes that the experiences in lives happen when you step outside your comfort zone. And he's always eager to connect with like-minded people. Welcome to Thrive Podcast, Siddharth. With me, I have Mr. Darshan Reddy, who will be moderating the session today. Darshan Reddy is a visionary entrepreneur and is a driving force behind Arbeit Nexus, a revolutionary digital platform designed to seamlessly connect job seekers with employers in the retail and hospitality sectors. With a mission to unlock opportunities in even the most remote areas of India, Darshan aims to meet the growing demand for skilled staff across the country and also provide opportunity at their fingertips. His entrepreneurial journey is backed by comprehensive expertise in business development, administration, and finance. Darshan has pursued specialized entrepreneurial courses, equipping him with a unique blend of strategic and operational insights, building Arbeit to be the next unicorn in India. Darshan's leadership and vision are poised to drive significant growth and impact, making Arbeit Nexus a cornerstone of innovation in India's job market. Welcome to the podcast, Darshan. So without any further delay, let's begin our session. Darshan, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajan. Thank you so much. Yeah. Hi, Siddharth.
Hi guys. So excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. I was waiting for your, when your availability actually. Okay, Siddharth, can you tell us what inspired you to find, Mentogram?
Absolutely. So this was about 2.5, 3 years ago, in which I was just out of college, and one thing that I realized was that what I learned in college and what the real world was, there was a big gap, right? And the deeper I dug, the more friends I talked to, especially those who were studying in India, I realized that something is definitely broken in the higher education system, because even in my own college experience, most of my learning happened through Google University, YouTube University, right? So that way, that's what really triggered me, made me think that how can we really improve the college experience, because students are spending anywhere between 4 to 2 years, sometimes 1 year for a master's degree, and most importantly spending hundreds of thousands of dollars sometimes on a degree. So it needs to be done in a better, more efficient way. So earlier when we started as a software company in which we used to partner with universities and implement mentorship as well as community engagement, networking across their programs, basically trying to make their programs better. But then we realized the more universities we worked with, universities are too slow to move, too sluggish, very bureaucratic system. So hence we decided to start our own college. We just got our member college accreditation in Europe a few months ago. and now we are a licensed member college in Europe, right? So it's Mentogram, from Mentogram to Mentogram College now. And the vision is still the same, that how we can fix the broken higher education system. Yeah.
That's really great to hear, Siddharth. As you told, Mentogram was started by you seeing the gap between the college and the students.
Yeah.
Can you tell me how exactly Mentogram is going to help a student?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So we run degree programs. Right now, we are having two degree programs that we started. We launched 2 months ago. One is our Founder MBA. So it is a unique program in which you learn business by building a business. And so you not only graduate with a government back MBA degree, but also with a revenue generating business. So many students go to business schools with an aspiration that they will learn about entrepreneurship, they'll learn about business, but what they end up doing is, memorizing formulas, memorizing theory after theory, cramming and giving an exam, right? In most colleges out there. So our thought process behind starting the Founder MBA, the Startup MBA, was to support those individuals, those students who has a passion of building something of their own. Whether they are working, we have a lot of working professionals as our students, right? Who are in their corporate job, let's say for the next for the last 3 to 5 years or even more, and who are looking to find more meaning, more purpose, and they don't know where to go, right? Where to start. Hence, this Founder MBA is the perfect sweet spot for them, in which they get the degree, they get the MBA degree backed by European Union, and they get the entire 1 year long MBA program. Partially online, partially in person, in which we have founders, VCs, successful entrepreneurs, teach and mentor them in this journey. That's one of our programs. The other program that we started is PGP Nexus. That's Tech MBA, in which the focus is helping, again, business professionals, marketing professionals, and operations professional implement AI in their workplace. We saw that there are a lot of courses, a lot of programs that taught you the technical skills behind AI, behind machine learning. But the gap was that how do you translate that into business innovation and business application? So that's our next program. There are a few more in the pipeline, in the catalog, but yeah, I could speak for those two programs. We have about 50 students in our programs. They are doing quite well, and we are looking to have more students, ambitious learners apply.
That's pretty interesting, to be frank. Siddharth, I want to share you one thing, because when I was a student,
Yeah,
when we wanted to pursue our entrepreneurial journey, in institutions, actually, people who teach entrepreneurship are not the people who did anything in entrepreneurship.
exactly.
They've not founded a company, nor they were a CEO of any company, or nor a mentor of any company.
Mhm.
Learning from them, I don't think any person would get that value for the course or anything. What you're doing is quite great. When you are taught by someone who is actually a founder, who's successful founder, who has failed in so many things and been a successful running a
Exactly.
company, everything, that value, it is very underrated, to be frank. And that is something which you're providing, and that is exactly what the people right now need. Uh,
Mhm.
that's something
Absolutely.
which is
That's spot
very.
on, Darshan. In fact, our name, Mentogram, is inspired by mentors, people who have been there, done that. So most professors out there, they are great at teaching theory from the academic perspective. But when it comes to the real world experience, that's where, that's how we coined the name in the first place, that you will learn from practitioners and from people who have been there, done that. Yeah.
Yeah. Siddharth, I know you were a product manager. So when you wanted to pursue an entrepreneurship, how did you feel like, okay, you're gonna run this company? What made you think like you're gonna run this company? What were the skills that you actually had and which you had to develop?
Yeah. So I came from a engineering background, right? So I did a few stints in product management, right? And those were, I think, very pivotal for me to acquire some of the business skills, right? On the business side, when it comes to, skill sets. I think number one skill set, or and or something, a framework that really helped me is design thinking. I think that is all entrepreneurs, all students of business should really implement, understand, and kind of internalize, because that is a very good problem solving framework that can be used across, not just in if you are wanting to start a company, but in product management as a leader in general, right? So design thinking was the initial spark. When I implemented it in one of my jobs, I kind of really found that it's very powerful framework for you, and something that every individual should have practiced it and implemented. Apart from that, a lot of when it comes to product management, as a product manager, you are a bridge between the technical side and the business side, right? So you need to have you need to understand the technical side, right? So that you can manage the developers, you can manage the product development, but at the same time you need to understand what are the business implications of that, right? If you are building a feature and if you do not know how it's going to translate to, let's say, revenue, or some business metric, let's say retention, let's say engagement, then it's of no use. So that is where striking a balance between the technical and the business side, right? So since I did my BTech, engineering, the tech side was still okay, but I had to really work on my business skills. Design thinking was a good, very good framework tool. Apart from that, I know what we call it as in Mentogram is power skills. These are the skills that are basic skills, right? Like empathy, right? Emotional intelligence, negotiations, resilience. I think as a product manager or as a leader in general, that power skills are very important. Communication. If you're not able to communicate to your developers, then you are failing as a product manager, right? And obviously there are frameworks, there are tools. You have Scrum, you have Agile. There are lots of tools and techniques around it, but ultimately it comes down to basic power skills. Yeah, so that's something really helped me. I did a few stints in product management, and that gave me the confidence that since I scaled a few products in the companies I worked for, and these were pretty large companies, MNCs, so that really gave me the confidence. If I can do it for them, I can do it for myself also.
Yeah. Yeah, same. Me being from a medical background, it was very hard for me when I actually shifted to an entrepreneurship journey.
Yeah.
It was like, I had to learn so many skills when it comes to marketing, tech. These are all the things where I had no knowledge about. Then I started learning each and every skills through each and every different platforms, everything like that. And it really, yeah, as you said, you need a balance of everything. You need complete balance, at least the basic knowledge of what's actually happening in that department. That's something
Exactly.
very
Jack of
important.
all trades.
Yeah. Yeah. Siddharth, we all coming from a traditional, education system. How do you think you differentiate with the traditional one?
Oh, I love this question. So there are many ways. Number one, instead of professors, we have practitioners and experts. Number two, there are no exams in our program, right? In our MBA or even in our other programs, we don't have exams. It's all project-based learning, right? So you get a chance to show your competency by, let's say, working on a project under the guidance of a mentor and showing progress and result. For example, in our startup MBA, the challenge for them is to build their own revenue generating business, right? So you have 12 months to do that, and we'll provide you every support that we can. So no exams, but instead showing real world competencies. Third one is we believe that the traditional education system, the way especially after ChatGPT, right? The way students are assessed needs to change, right? Because if you put any question paper on ChatGPT, most likely ChatGPT will do much better than most of us,
Yeah.
right? So are we really going to use that standard to still test and grade students? Probably not, right? It still might be okay now, but I'm sure in the next few years it's going to be unacceptable, right? No employer will trust the grades and the CGPAs. Who knows, it's done by ChatGPT, right? So there definitely needs to be a different examination and testing methods that really understands the competencies of students. And not everything could be qualitative, quantitative. You cannot grade everything, but there are certain very subtle things, right, that employers really care about. You can obviously grade the technical part of things, right? I can take a test and show my technical competency, but how can I show that I have resilience, or I am going to be a good employee, or I am good at product time management, let's say, right? Because these are the skills that you need in a job. So that is where our mentor-led learning approach comes in. So each of our student is matched with a mentor who is again from the industry, and then there is a particular roadmap that we create. And one more thing that we do is so it's a hybrid program. So part of the program is online, and part of the and we have partner campuses in different cities. Right now, it's live in Bangalore, Delhi, and Mumbai. So we have three partner campuses. So our students can take classes online that provides them the flexibility. But then through partner campuses, they get the impact of the in-person learning, the networking that they need, right? So these are some of the differences that we are looking to make the existing system better.
Nice, nice. Okay, Siddharth, can you name me those campuses in India, because it will be more informative for us?
Yeah, so it's in Delhi. We have partnered with this venture studio called First 500 Days, right? In fact, it's in Gurgaon, right? So they have a space where they host entrepreneurs, founders, VCs. So that's a space that we have collaborated with them. So that's in Gurgaon. Then in Bangalore, we have one in MG Road, right, where we conduct some of our sessions. Bring our experts, mentors. In Mumbai, again, I think it's in Juhu that we have. Yeah, so we are looking to expand more of these campuses in different cities across India.
Yeah. Last time, I think Bangalore one, you had told me to visit there. It was,
Yeah. That was our session.
yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah.
were in Mumbai, right, that time?
I'll go there soon.
Absolutely.
Siddharth, because you spoke about, people building, their own product which generates revenue within 12 months, everything like that. So can you tell me some success stories or impactful outcomes you have witnessed through Mentogram?
Absolutely. So we are so I can tell you about our cohort that we just launched like 2-3 months ago. And we have, first of all, students from all different parts of India, right? We have students, from cities as well as tier 2, tier 3 towns. So we were very, happy to see that, there's a lot of diversity, number one. Number two, we saw a lot of working professionals join our program as well. So out of them, most of them are kind of stuck with their jobs, or they feel stagnated and they're looking for something more inspiring, more or something that they can call their own, right? So far, out of a batch of 30 students, we have about 15 of them already launched their companies, launched their MVPs. Now they're kind of testing it in the market. We have one of our students who recently got a government grant from Startup India, right? So that was I think 15 to 20 lakh grant. So that was again a good outcome that we had. Our students, one of the things that they tell us is most of them are first-time entrepreneurs, right? And they have never pitched to an investor before. And we put them, I think this was week 4 or week 5. We put them in front of investors that, okay, the best way to, how to swim is to actually just dive right in, right? It's a similar thought process that you go in front of investors, experience how it feels to talk to an investor, and then obviously you'll improve from there, right? So yeah, that was something that was very, very exciting. Now they're working on their marketing and revenue generation. When it comes to our previous cohorts, we have students who have raised seed rounds, pre-series A rounds for their companies. We have, at the same time, we also give a separate track to students, because we do understand that starting companies is risky. So some of our students also take leadership roles in a startup. One of our student is working as a growth leader in a Turkey-based automobile company, MNC, right? So there are many such examples that we have.
That's great, Siddharth. That's great. Hoping a lot of people, get success through Mentogram.
Thank you, Darshan.
How do you actually measure the effectiveness and impact of Mentogram?
Yeah, that's a tricky one. That's something I think universities are as a college now we are figuring out how we can really quantify the outcomes in terms of the ROI. Let's say if someone invests X thousand dollars on, let's say, our MBA, right? How can we really make sure that they we can quantify the ROI? Now, based on the program, there are different ways. For example, let's say the AI program I was talking to you about, right? The tech MBA. One of the metrics that we have for that is how can you use AI, number one, to save time, right? So that's an immediate metric. So let's say if you're spending X hours on doing either in your workplace or in your business or on your personal life, how can it be reduced to, let's say, X by 2 or even lesser, right? So that's a direct tangible outcome. uh, Outcome then two for that program becomes how can they leverage AI to be better at what they are doing, right? So how do you improve your own efficiency as well as output using AI? That is number two. Number three is obviously we have a network of employer partners. A lot of our learners are also looking for internships, projects, as well as job opportunities. So the third outcome being how we can help them build a portfolio so that they are getting those employment outcomes. We recently did a partnership with IBM. So that was again a big breakthrough for us. So we have collaborated with IBM on designing the program, on incorporating some of their tools, their courses and their certifications into our program, right? So students do get access to that. The founder MBA, the outcome is pretty straightforward. You end up graduating with a revenue generating business and a degree. So our focus is that how do you, and it doesn't need to be a tech startup, right? It could be a small business, right? Someone who is an employee who's a 9 to 5, and then he or she wants a side hustle, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, the goal is that you generate revenue and that your side hustle becomes your main hustle eventually, right? So that's how we quantify the outcomes. But it's still a long way, still till degrees are able to really quantify. If you look at in the West, they charge hundreds of thousands of dollars for a degree, and most of them could not justify the ROI. Even at the top universities these days, we are hearing a lot of reports that students are unemployed, students are not getting jobs despite paying 100, 150, or even sometimes 250K, right? US dollars. So I think we are still figuring it out. Yeah, on this. It's a long way to figure out this.
Education nowadays, it's very expensive. When you talk about the West, right? Yeah,
Hmm.
people paying hundreds and thousands of dollars. According to me, what I feel is that, people think if you go to a great college, you get a great job.
Hmm.
I feel like if you learn the skills required for the particular designation, that is when you get a great job. You know, that's
Totally.
that's something I think people will learn. I mean, one more thing, when you can see the shift towards AI right now,
Mm-hmm.
the world is shifting in a very high intensity towards the AI, where startups are looking at AI in terms of everything. How do you think, education is going to shift for the AI?
So if I were to talk about the future trends of education, I strongly believe number one that with AI and with the entire pandemic and everything else, education is going to become, especially college education, is going to become more hybrid, right? It doesn't make sense to spend 4 years in a traditional setup while you can really earn and work, right? Earn and learn, right? So we definitely will see more such models in which as a student you don't need to be on the campus all the time, but you can learn and earn. And there are other hybrid models available to you which provides you more flexibility as well, right? And that also is at a better price point, right? Why universities charge so much? Because again, their campuses are lavish and most of the facilities are not even used by the students, right? So can it be made more affordable? Can it be more efficient? One is hybrid. Second, as I mentioned about examinations, I think certainly how we assess, how the examinations are conducted, that's going to certainly change. Because if an examination can be, if a chat GPT can score more marks than me in an examination, I think something is really, really broken, right? So definitely examinations are going to change. And the third thing, I believe with AI, uh, higher education, especially college, is ideally should be more personalized, right?
Yeah.
Today, everything is very standardized, right? It's like everyone gets the same program, the same faculty, the same course pathway. But I think with AI, there's a lot of scope of innovation in which each learner, because each learner is unique, right? He or she has its own aspirations, own goals, own strengths and weaknesses. So will AI help to personalize it? I do believe, yeah, it's going to become more personalized.
Yeah, that's actually what we require, right now. When you told about mentogram,
Hmm.
personalized mentor,
Hmm.
that's very important. That is what it makes unique.
Yeah.
You if you have all the industry people, talking to you, or you don't know whom to go, that doesn't make sense actually. You know,
Mhm.
uh, how do you tell me, give me one advice that you're gonna tell to the future aspiring entrepreneurs who are looking to make a difference in the education sector?
In the education sector, so been in this industry for a few years now. I think what I realized is, more entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, need to bring the ed in the ed tech back, right?
Mm.
There are lots of companies out there, with tools and with softwares, focusing too much on the tech, but they forget that they operate in the tech space, right? So that is where we also, as I mentioned, right, we were a software company pivoted to
Mm.
college model. So we also brought the ed back in. We are also trying to bring the ed in back in the ed tech. So that is where we see more opportunities, because because we have worked extensively with universities across the world, and we know they are not an easy customer base to have, right? Same goes with schools, right? Primary schools, secondary schools. So if you are planning to sell B2B to them, then it's going to be difficult. You need to have a very, very, very strong, compelling value proposition for a university or a school to pay you for a software or a tool, right? So hence, I would really strongly encourage fellow aspiring, education founders to think that how they can bring the ed back in the ed tech, right? I think that is where, and that's where the value also is, right? We have students, of our previous cohorts, of our, of last year, last to last year, still reaching out to us, still saying, what they learned back then, they're still implementing it. So there is a lot of impact as well as opportunities for that. Yeah.
Okay.
And one more thing I could potentially add, it's not going to be, it's not going, at least for the next couple of years, fundraising, it's still going to be challenging, right? I've talked to a lot of, education investors, and, the way the whole ecosystem really leveled up during COVID, I think certainly it's in a decline. Last year was very bad. This year is still picking up. But I think it's going to, although it will pick up, but it's not going to be easy, right? So do not assume that you're going to get funding right away. You have to plan. If you are wanting to launch an education venture, you need to really think about your unit economics. You cannot hope. Obviously, if you get funding, that's great. But if not, you have to plan. You have to have that plan.
That's really very informative, Siddharth. Fundraising is very difficult nowadays. It's become difficult right now in all the industries, to be frank, apart from AI driven
Mhm.
industries. If investors look first, if you have AI,
Mhm.
what they have, you have AI, then they're gonna talk with you, or else they'll be like, you know what, just let's not waste our time. As Arbeit Nexus, being we also have an upskilling program which you know already.
Yeah, yeah.
When we go to unis, everything like that, how are you actually cracking the universities and making them accept your programs out there? How are you doing that? And how adaptable is an Indian market to accept edtechs right now?
Yeah. So, we used to work with a lot of universities, right? Top names like, National University of Singapore, they are one of our clients. Then SRM University in India, IMBOTHGAYA was our partner, right? IMA is our partner. So, when it comes to working with universities, we need to first of all understand that university is a very large ecosystem, right? The power is not, let's say, there is no CEO of the university, right? The power is in different departments. So you need to first identify which department you want to talk to, right? Do you want to talk to, the business department, or, you want to talk to, let's say, the admissions department or the marketing department? or the finance department, right? Based on what your solution is. For us, what we realized is working with the continuing education department of universities is that worked for us, right? And hence figure just taking some time out to figure out that who to talk in the university, right? Because some founders that we have talked to, they're like, I'll talk to the president or the chancellor. First of all, it's very difficult to get a meeting with him or her, and secondly, even if you get a meeting, they're like, talk to my colleague or assistant, because ultimately they are going to execute on it, not the chancellor, right? So it's very
Sorry, Unique.
hello,
Yeah.
am I back?
Yeah. You're there.
Okay, perfect. I think there's a network drop.
Okay. It's perfect. Perfect now.
Yeah. So I was saying, yeah, so that's the piece. You need to, as an education founder, if you want to work with universities, you need to figure out which department exactly you want to work, and then approach that department. Secondly, again, universities are at the end of the day, also in the business of making money, right? All universities want more students, more fees, more enrollments, right? That's their ultimate goal. They might say, very nice, good things, but at the very core, they also want to grow, right? Whether it's, some are profit, some are for non-profit universities. So based on that, but still, everyone wants more enrollments, more students. So positioning how your solution can help them achieve that, rather than very philosophical things and very impactful things. I think it's very important, if you want to approach universities, be very direct that this is how it will help you enroll, let's say, 10% more students, or increase your fees, or drive more revenues, or reduce costs, right? So either of them. Yeah.
Yeah. This adaptability is actually a little lesser in India when we look at the ed techs. One thing, as a student, as a person, a student, if him looking at MBAs in a traditional college and ed tech like Mentogram,
Mm-hmm.
give him tell him one thing that that makes him feel confident. I feel like mainly in India right now, people are not aware. One thing, and one more thing is people actually don't know, what exactly this program is going to give them. In terms of jobs, in terms of the value what exactly this provides. That is something which people are not confident in India, mainly the students, or they're not aware. What is one thing that one advice that you could give them?
Yeah, I think if we break down into the very fundamentals, the purpose of education should be to help unlock someone's true potential. Right, everything else comes after it, right? Whether it's a job or a promotion or a career advancement or an internship or a company you want to launch. But I think at the very core, any education platform, whether a university, whether edtechs, they should be in the business of helping people realize their true potential. That is what our mission is, right? Obviously, after that, once you join the program, there are different pathways based on your aspirations. You want to launch a company, there is a founder MBA. You want to use AI in your business, then we have, or your work life, we have the tech MBA. But if I so that is where that would be my take on this, in terms of students should also realize that why they're enrolling for a program is for them to really harness their true potential. Because if you're able to do that, then definitely you are going to get your dream job. You're definitely going to get your dream internship, or your dream promotion, or your dream startup,
Yeah.
right? So this is something universities don't talk about. Obviously, they put their placement reports and everything else. We also know that a lot of times they're made up, right? It's the statistics behind it is sometimes ugly, right? That obviously is not shown to the real world. But I think if you are enrolling in a degree, if you're enrolling in a program, the first and foremost thing is you need to be the best version of yourself, right? That's the purpose of it. Has been the purpose of education, and then you will get a job, you will launch a startup, you will build a network. Yeah, and yeah, I think second thing also is your network is your net worth. I think Darshan, you mentioned about some elite universities. Why people spend so much money is because of the network they get there, right? They meet some really amazing people, and that is something we're trying to also simulate here through our partner campuses, through our mentor network that we have. That how you can be surrounded with people who are having who are this who are either in the same boat as you, so that gives you the community, but at the same time also pushes you out of your comfort zone, right? So building your network, emphasizing that is very, very important.
Yeah. Thank you, Siddharth. This makes more informative actually. This session was actually packed with insights. Thank you so much, Siddharth, for joining with us. Giving us the time in your busy schedule, and for joining us on Thrive by Arbit. And it's
Absolutely.
indeed a very insightful session here. Okay,
No, thank you so much, guys.
I,
Yeah.
I think the viewers who are going to look at this podcast are going to get more insights and information about how to look at edtechs and what they're going to get provided with that. And I feel like there's going to be a change and people will start thinking differently. And guys, follow us on LinkedIn for more updates and catches our next episode where we'll explore more on hiring, skill development, retail, hospitality, everything. Until then, keep thriving, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rajan. Thank you, Siddharth.
Thanks. Thanks,
Thank,
Siddharth.
thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Darshan.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.